Ah, the Balkans, such a peaceful place, said nobody ever. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another Medieval Kingdoms 1212 online battle. Today we have an explosive one which will be very, very exciting in the outskirts of Constantinople, which is going to be absolutely awesome as some cavalry teleport through the ground a little bit and move around this flank. So we'll go and take it on slow-mo whilst we just take a look at what the players are bringing and how the map is set up. And I have to say, I really like the way the map is set up. Having this huge kind of hill with the villages and stuff like that, it just makes for a really interesting engagement. And then you kind of have more of a flat open ground over on this left hand side. Stuff like this I think creates a really unique battlefield, and it's not something you get too much in Attila Total War, unfortunately. So, you know, if the people who played this battle, once again a massive thank you for sending in this replay, you know, want to use more maps like this, I definitely approve it, because yeah, it just creates a more kind of interesting dynamic by having these kind of hills and strategic positions which one side has to try and dislodge the other people. I think it makes for some really cool stuff. So for the attacking side, we do have a force, I believe, from Greece right here, which are going to be pushing forward. I believe this is Nicaea, and they're going to be advancing forward with their Bulgarian allies. The Bulgarians are going to be dispatched over on this right hand side. And they're going to have a lot of heavy infantry and other, you know, units. I really love the look of these new shields that have recently been added to the Bulgarian infantry. The militia spearmen, they don't really look like militia spearmen because they have pretty decent armor, to be honest, for militia spearmen. As I said, I love the look of these shields. They're so goddamn nice. And then defending outside of Constantinople, we do have the Latin Empire. They're going to be obviously towed to the tooth with armor and weaponry, ready to defend this land right here, trying to protect the city at all costs. And defending them, we do have a force from Croatia. So this is going to be a heavily Baltic battle, or Balkan battle, not Baltic, we're not up there. Balkan battle, you know, lots of heavy infantry, lots of spearmen, crossbows, and all that lovely stuff. So it's just going to make for a really fun battle, I think. And we can go ahead and just get this bad boy kicked off. Now, I was told that there was a little bit of strategy going into this battle, obviously, by the defenders, who are going to be the yellow team. They kind of decided that they wanted to kind of give up a flank and encourage a 2v1 to erupt. So we're going to be able to see that kind of fully go up. But basically, this flank is going to kind of collapse so that they can focus more on one side. I'm not sure what side they're focusing on, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that does develop. And I was also told that this is an extremely close engagement as well. So make sure to stick around to the end. Right now, though, the crossbows, the Pavis Genoan crossbows, where there's gold, there is these Genoan mercenaries. And that is just so goddamn true. And I mean, oh my god, look at that. I love large-scale battles, but this map is just really awesome. It really is. And just to see, like, all the units moving, the arrow fire coming in, and all these battle lines formed up. Like, I mean, look at that distance right there. Oh, you just don't get much more like that in any other game. The Genoan crossbows aren't actually volleying back quite yet, and they're taking a bit of missile fire, as it does seem like the Bulgarians have pushed forward. Oh, and I really like these. These are like kind of like conquistadors right here. The voivodes, they look really cool. Does anyone, like, please let me know in the comments down below, like, a bit more about these guys, because they look really good. Like, what did they do historically and stuff? Do let me know. And there we go. The battle lines are going to get ready to engage as the Latin Empire comes flying down. They are already engaging against some of the Bulgarian axemen, which is so, like, important to get this charge off and collide in against the swordsmen from the Latin Empire. Yeah, you want to get a good charge off, and there we go. Just the entire battle is erupting. Yeah, holy crap. The entire battle lines have now fully engaged, with Nicaea over on this side going up against the Croatian forces. So we just go down the battle line. I should probably slow up the camera maybe a little bit would be good. I mean, I love doing this. I love as well how you've got like a nice little sturdy shield wall just behind the battle line as we're keeping on going. Oh my god, this battle line is tremendously big. And there we go. To the end. That was just the Croatian line as well. I mean, not to mention all of that going off on in the distance as the forces do continue to move up. And it seems like we are going to have a wonderful little push right here, trying to get onto these handgunners. And oh my god, this unit of light infantry has just run through them. How the hell did they just phase warp through that unit of swordsmen? But They managed to do it. However, they are going to be getting hit by the Vangian Guard pretty quickly, and these guys are obviously, an elite force of heavy infantry, so they're going to be able to stock that and basically save the gunners from death and destruction. However, we are getting a bit of cavalry charge right here, fighting their way through the gaps and charging into the center of this line. Really nice maneuvering there by the red team, breaking through here and coming in, and you can see ripping away that unit of communal spearmen. So you can also see, wow, there, look at that. So because they've given up this entire flank right now, you can see that the forces are maneuvering around the battlefield. And again, that's why I really like to see kind of more of these condensed battles as well, because it allows really interesting envelopments like this. Generally in these battle maps, the battle maps just aren't big enough to have 20,000 men on, which is roughly what we have today. So because of that, actually, I think we have around about 16,000, but even still, because the battle maps aren't big enough to kind of facilitate this, it means that you don't really get many cool outflanks and positions like this. So again, it's really cool to see this. I believe there is a map mod for Rome 2 that actually, which actually increases battle maps massively. So it'd be really awesome to see that come into effect for Attila as well. I don't know if that's going to take a lot of effort to do, because I think all they did was just duplicate a bunch of maps several times or something along them lines. I'm not sure how they managed to do it in Rome 2. But either way, I probably in Attila it's a shit ton of work. So, but it'd be really cool to see just these maps increased in size. Because there is a lot of territory out here, right? So maybe you could just extend the battle maps. Maybe it is just a zoning issue, to extend this on a bunch of maps. That'd be really cool, honestly. Having bigger maps of these insanely large engagements would just make for a lot more tactics, and that's something I would love to see. But anyway, going back to the battle, sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there. So the front lines are now fully engaged, and it does seem like the Croatians are starting to break away in some of their spearmen, as we do have Nicaea throwing their men forward. Over on this side of the battlefield, we do have the Bulgarians slamming in against the forces of the Latin Empire. The Latin Empire seemingly holding the line, but, getting pushed back in certain areas. They do have some awesome looking halberds as well, just holding this front line. And a massive cavalry engagement. We do actually have the Emperor himself going in, the General's bodyguard, moving his way in this huge cavalry engagement. I mean, look how heavily armored everyone is right now. That is a pretty insane cluster. But luckily, the Latin Empire is going to be able to reinforce their cavalry with infantry from the back, and that's going to obviously push out a large portion of this cavalry and actually defeat them once and for all. Oh wait, if I got this the wrong way around, it's the Latin Empire. I think Nicaea is defending and the Latin Empire are attacking. I maybe messed that up. Oh, that's a bit awkward. Hold on, I'm going to check. No, I was right. The Latin Empire is defending and the Empire of Nicaea are attacking. But they obviously share very much a similar kind of culture in the unit, so that's fine. We do get some cavalry coming through, though, from Nicaea. And instead of going after these missiles, they are going to be looking to try and break through in the infantry department, which is obviously a very important strategy to do. Because if you can open up the gaps in the enemy lines, that's going to be so useful. And it seems like they already have right here with a big break right there, which they can exploit if they want to, but they are holding firm, something that they did not do in 1066. So it's great to see the shield walls holding firm until the entire army is ready to push forward and break away into this gap. Very, very smart moving there, not overextending. Over on this side as well, we are getting some cavalry ripping through the sergeants, sending a lot of them to the ground. They are going to get up, but taking a lot of casualties there from this cavalry charge, and more infantry moving into position to completely overwhelm this flank. I mean, they're very much outnumbered, so they need to be careful. They do have some mercenary men-at-arms, which are going to have to be deployed to that left flank, because, yeah, look at that. They are getting enveloped very, very quickly. And look at Constantinople in the background. Constantinople looks like pretty much destroyed. Look at that. Yeah, what's happened to the wall? It's completely destroyed. The Croatian right flank is struggling, as well as the Empire of Nicaea push forward, defeating a large portion of these Croatian communal nobles. And I love their weapons as well. Very unique. They are breaking now. I think the Croatians just don't have the strength to hold this. You can see their entire center has been broken up, but that does open up some gaps for the Croatian cavalry to find their mark on these Genoan crossbows. It's a very good charge off there, sending many of them to the ground. They are in loose formation, which I think reduces their entry mass by a lot, meaning that cavalry can quite easily rip them apart. But after that initial assault, they can overrun them, and with more reinforcements turning up, this cavalry unit has basically signed its own death warrant, I believe. So this entire Croatian center has broken. The left flank is getting kind of ran up pretty heavily with another beautiful cavalry charge right there by the attackers, coming into the back of these Croatian units, even with more Croatian cavalry turning up to silence this. That's going to be all she wrote, I think, for this flank, and we're going to see it breaking very, very quickly, because as you can see, envelopments are happening left, right, and center. And even some of the strongest units in the game would not be able to hold fast in this situation. Yeah, look at that huge rout by the Croatians, and cavalry charges and the envelopments just proving too much for that flank, leaving the Latin Empire to hold firm against their battle line. And I mean, even they are struggling kind of heavily right now, as the Bulgarians continue to pursue the advantage that they have. Look at that distance. Oh man, you guys know I'm one for just seeing loads of crazy stuff happening in the distance. I always remember watching or casting a Warhammer 2 battle on one of the awesome dwarven Karaks. I can't remember what Karak it was, maybe Karak 8 Peaks. But basically, there was a huge battle going on, and in the distance you could see the hordes of orcs march across the bridge itself to the fortress for like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes as the battle was going on, and you just saw a constant spray of orcs going in, and it just looked so goddamn awesome. Just really gives you a sense of scale, like seeing this off in the distance, even if it is a bit blurry and you can't really tell what's going on, it just gives you a really good sense of like the scale that's going on in these battles. And hopefully Total War in the future pushes for more and more scale, because we haven't really got a large, improvement since Rome 2. Attila, you can have around about 22,000 men on most decent computers, but that's about it. I want bigger, I want better, and I want larger scale battles. There we go. Oh my god, this unit of Bulgarian cavalry has been stopped in its tracks. Only now given the order. No, it hasn't even been given the order to stop. It's obviously been told to go here. But right now, the Genoan crossbowmen are opening up. But it is time for the cavalry to get its revenge. Running through that, and I imagine going after more and more of the crossbows as quickly as possible. Yep, going after these crossbows next, trying to bring down as many as possible. Croatia have fallen back their flank. You can see that flank has just been annihilated. Literally, the Croatians got smashed into the ground, and now more reinforcements are turning up. Oh my god, yeah, look at that. The Empire of Nicaea are charging forward now. I mean, it's really up to them to get up on this hill as quickly as physically possible. The flank side has also engaged, but these mercenary men-at-arms are going to have to earn their keep in this battle, as they are fighting a unit of halberds. But even though they have been pretty outnumbered, they're doing a good job with some support from this cavalry unit, the Latin Chevaliers. They're actually doing a pretty good job at defeating these halberds. And this cavalry looks so goddamn clean. Look at it, man. It's a really nice unit of horse. And yeah, they're actually overrunning this flank, which is great, considering I feel like they were fairly outnumbered in this battle at the beginning. But they need to clean up this fight very quickly. And, because as soon as this entire army turns up, they're going to be pretty screwed. So they need to arrive here as soon as possible to support their Bulgarian allies. Even though the Bulgarians do seem like they're doing a pretty decent job at holding and making ground, there's a few positions where they are getting a bit overrun, but for the most part, they're doing a very good job. Like, this flank is dwindling a little bit, but as soon as this entire clump, this is basically an entire army here, as soon as this turns up, it's going to be looking very, very shaky. There is also infantry right here. The Croatians are covering. Somehow the Bulgarians have got a unit of macemen back here. And the Croatians are having to cover what remains of the Croatian army, that is. We even jump on board, and in fact, there's a tree in the way, so we'll jump on board with another couple units. We also do have a unit of cavalry out here, the Emperor's bodyguard from the Empire of Nicaea. I think he is still alive. Yeah, the Emperor is alive, or the so-claimed Emperor is alive. And you see a bit of Constantinople in the distance. But yeah, look at that. The entire cavalry force now moving over for Nicaea. You got crossbows hammering away at cavalry. This infantry is being held up. Does seem like the Latin Empire are throwing everything they've got just to try and buy themselves as much time as possible, meaning that they're going to be sacrificing a handful of these units. This cavalry unit is going in, and even though it is a very elite one, it's going to get overrun by infantry. There's just so many of them. And whose general went down? Was that Croatia's general? I think that was the Latin Empire's general. The Emperor himself has gone down, unfortunately. Due to the hammering of cavalry charges, and there you go, another cavalry charge is going to decimate that unit of halberds, just being obliterated from the map. Now this cavalry is going to pull back. This flank has won, so they need to quickly try and get as many men back to this position as possible. They could try and retreat in between these two houses and hold like a defensive block right there, because there's a lot of men soon to be here. And the Bulgarians are still pushing. It's not like the Latin Empire have completely dominated this flank. You know, the Bulgarians are still putting up a very, very good fight, even if they are fighting uphill. They're still putting up a very, very strong fight. And obviously, it's only a matter of time, a ticking time bomb, until their allies do arrive from the distance and help cement this victory home. I feel like they've got a very... I mean, the balance of power still says it's very even, but I just don't see how it is, you know? There's still all of this coming into battle. I mean, I guess they do have a handful of, you know, decent men here. There is a unit of guns, though, set up and pretty unchallenged. So these guns can rack up a lot of kills. I guess the Empire of Nicaea... Sorry, the Latin Empire are winning their central fight now, breaking the Bulgarians. The Bulgarians only really have this left, but that's gone ahead and given them a lot of time. And look at that, another wonderful cavalry charge there, ripping through these units of archers and then going after the Genoan crossbowmen as well. Taking away that force is huge. We do have a counter charge here by the cavalry. There you go, the guns getting a good volley off before they do go down. So yeah, I guess the Latin Empire have basically held their own. Besides like this unit, the Bulgarians are basically completely destroyed. Now, we did get some reinforcements by the Croatians, but for the most part, they've definitely done a very good job at holding. If they can keep this unit of guns alive, that is massive, because the guns are in such a great position on this flank that they can just hammer away, and it seems like they have managed to do that. That's really useful, because as the Latin Empire tries to form up the rest of their forces, these guns can just continue to help. And also it takes a lot of pressure off of the Empire of Nicaea as well, as they advance forward the rest of their units, as they look to obviously break this battle once and for all. Latin Empire falling back to the hillside defenses. They've got a lot of Genoan crossbowmen. Literally, Genoa are supplying the missile force for most forces in this battle. They really are. Crossbows going in. Yeah, just hammering away at these Croatian Genoan crossbowmen. These guys picked the wrong side. But maybe there is still, you know, a possibility of a last stand. There we go. Finally, the guns being taken out by this wonderful cavalry charge. Moving in, ripping through the lines. Yeah, sending them flying. That's exactly what needed to happen. Yeah, I mean, I guess they do have these reinforcements, right? If they have these reinforcements, this cavalry unit comes around, routs these guys with a rear charge. There's definitely a chance, but I mean, honestly, the Empire of Nicaea should just run at them until they form up, you know? The longer they sit back, the better it's going to be for the Latin Empire, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to put as much pressure on as possible. There is a gaping hole right here that these guys will eventually fill in, but until they do, that's going to be a big issue, and another really good charge off there. Maybe I've ripped off the Latin Empire a little bit too soon. Another charge in there is going to rout this entire flank. Yeah, look at that. And then the mercenary men-at-arms going to be proving their worth against the Vanguard Guard. And that's buying them time whilst this is going on. This battle has actually all of a sudden got extremely close. Only 190 men in it right now. And I think it's because they just don't have any cavalry. They do have some cavalry left. The two generals' bodyguards. That's about it. Well, this battle is going to go down to the wire, and if you guys have enjoyed this engagement, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below, guys. It's really awesome when we do get a lot of likes on these videos. It super helps out the channel as well, so yeah, if you enjoy what you see and you want to see more battles like this, do let me know. And obviously, by hitting the like button for guys who play these battles, they'll be like, oh wow, people really liked that specific battle, so we're going to do more engagements like that. But right now, it does seem like the Empire of Nicaea are just holding off, which is biding the Latin Empire lots of time to actually form up their assault. I mean, I honestly felt like they were going to get completely overrun, but they're going to win this against the last remaining Bulgarians who are fighting in the shade. They're eventually going to wear them down and then just close in. You can already see one of the units there. They're very close to breaking right now. There you go. The general goes down to the crossbow volleys as well. The infantry is colliding, but I feel like this infantry needed to get stuck in a little bit sooner. Both sides morale-wise looking very good. And there you have it. I think the Latin Empire have brought this one back, honestly. They're about to get a very nice rear charge off into the swordsmen of the Empire of Nicaea. They're about to break all of this. They have the cavalry advantage. They have a decent amount of crossbows. They need to be careful here. There's a big old overlap about to come in. But if this one unit of mercenary men-at-arms could engage 2 units of infantry, that's going to be huge. It's really up to the Empire of Nicaea to, you know, spread out their men and not let that happen. But it seems like they're going to fall back and kind of let them come in a little bit more. Oh, they've got, actually, no, wait, they've got 2 more units coming in now. It's perfect. And then obviously, as soon as they deal with this unit of archers from the Bulgarians, which are holding firm. And this is one of the reasons I really like using heavy archers in 12-12, is because a unit of archers can hold up 2 whole units of infantry. You know, they're eventually going to break and die, and cavalry can really take them down. But right now, this is basically holding the Empire of Nicaea together, because if this breaks, it's another 2 units of infantry that can come round and attack. Oh, this is going to be pretty devastating though for the Latin Empire. Losing this center is going to open up and free up 2 whole units to come flying through. Crossbows moving up as well as the firing continues to go very much back and forth. Finally, this men-at-arms unit has been broken as well from the Latin Empire, so the Empire of Nicaea can move around the flanks maybe, look to exploit that. It seems like more reinforcements are going in now. Yeah, this battle is going to be very close, but that's 2 whole units that can now come in. I honestly cannot call this. This battle could go either way. Morale seems pretty good for both sides as well. Oh yeah, and look at that. Immediately as they engage, I think this unit's going to start coming around the side of these men-at-arms. Well, the men-at-arms do have, you know, decent chevrons as well, so that's going to be beneficial for them. But look at this, like such a small-scale battle now. You know, this is like a proper skirmish. And yeah, they're going to push forward, seeing only 1 unit of men-at-arms here, which is taking a lot of crossbow fire as well, but they're going to come flying in here. That's going to leave them pretty, you know, open to the charge from the spearmen from that side now. Smashing in, though, against the spearmen. Pretty good charge, actually. This spearman unit is very close to breaking. And I think the Latin Empire have this one. Even with the reinforcements there, some of their units are breaking. The men-at-arms are doing an amazing job. They still have all these crossbows. They have their general left as well. And these 2 spare units of infantry going to come in right at the end of the battle. I feel like, yeah, there you go. The Latin Empire must have this. They can reinforce this. A good cavalry charge here by the Chevaliers. Ripping through that unit. Going to probably break it on charge as soon as the casualties start to be inflicted. Going down to steady, shaken, wavering. And soon to be gone, I think. And then that opens up this entire position. Even with all the crossbows focused down on the cavalry, that's going to completely allow them to envelop. And I think that's going to be the battle right there. Somehow the Latin Empire holding firm. And I can't believe that battle went that way. The amount of men the Empire of Nicaea had, I guess it takes a long time to reform the army and bring it over. And that, you know, really, you know, the Bulgarians held and they held and they held. The reinforcements just did not arrive in time. And yeah, my God, what a battle that was. I think it is all over now. Cavalry charges moving in. The crossbows have barely got any ammunition left, and yeah, that's going to be all she wrote for the battle, I believe. As the cavalry completely continues to run amok. Envelopments are arriving now, and the Latin Empire are going to hold their ground outside the grand city of Constantinople. So yeah, that was a really, really cool battle for sure. Really, really cool battle. Definitely more like this with awesome maps where you do have like this defensive hill and stuff. And you guys always send me in the best replays, so I do really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and look at the kills. It was a Pyrrhic victory for Croatia and the Latin Empire, holding firm indeed. But yeah, that was a very, very insane battle. You can see a lot remaining for both sides. Very similar numbers remaining for both sides. It was just one side couldn't get the advantage. So Croatian-wise, again, it's always going to be the knights that really rack up the most kills. I'm always interested to see if infantry can kind of come close. We do have some mercenary men-at-arms. Yeah, oh my god, the mercenary men-at-arms definitely paid for themselves. 460 kills on this unit. I guess the Bulgarians just didn't have much to really counter this, unfortunately. Speaking of which, the Bulgarian force, I love when the Bulgarians and like kind of the Balkan forces do bring war dogs. They're always so interesting, and they're very, very cool to kind of bring less meta units, but they can be very effective. So you can see the general did getting the Tsar's bodyguard getting 103 kills, which is always good. And then finally the Empire of Nicaea. Yeah, look at that. These elite Emperor's Guard, 500 kills on the cavalry. Pretty goddamn deadly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you want to see more 12-12, then make sure to drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.